Hi guys, and welcome to another vlog, another day, another Volkswagen, another similar looking Volkswagen is the exact word I was actually searching for. This is the Vento Automatic. Yeah, the 1 liter TSI engine gets an automatic engine bay insulation. Oh my god, it is hot AF, and the design looks similar to what it used to look when the car was originally launched in India, although they have made changes like obviously you get LED lights which look quite nice here, and the fog lights are not LEDs. Fog lights are not LEDs, but you get the cornering function. Cornering lights actually. Grille is the GTI inspired grille. Everything remains the same. There's nothing to talk about in terms of the exterior of this car. It's the same as the 2020 Vento, which I've already reviewed earlier. Yeah, from the side it looks elegant, but now started to look dated as well. No rear discs on this car. At the rear they've put this chrome line as well below the VW logo, but you know what, it says Vento BS6. Well, wow, that's a discovery. And it says TSI right there. Subtle spoiler, proper exhaust, no fake stuff happening here, which is quite nice as such. Look at that length of that exhaust. Let's open the boot. Boot is actually decent sized as well. Spare wheel is not an alloy, and yeah, it is actually smaller sized. 175/70 14s. The car is running on 16s, and the spare wheel is so small. That's kind of weird actually. It's cost cutting, but they will tell you, you know what, we don't have much space in the boot to actually put it. 195/55 16s. Size of the tires, chrome line there. Just randomly put chrome wherever they feel like, but they ran out of chrome because on the doors only on the top side there's chrome. There's no chrome here as such. Okay, rear seat experience is actually quite good because you know what, you can move this seat ahead if you so wish. Build quality is really very nice. Two adjustable headrests, but there's a hump in the center. There's a AC vent there. There's a cup holder too. However, you know what, VW also knows three people cannot sit this, so they have not given an adjustable headrest. In fact, they have not even given a headrest. Forget adjustable headrest. There is an armrest, but there are no cup holders on the armrest. And there's a 12 volt charging socket. There should have been a USB now. Car feels really dated in the amount of features it has to offer. Cup holder here, you can just push it ahead like this, and there increases space on offer. Now there's good amount of knee room and leg room. Scooped out seat bag, magazine holder. Under-thigh support is decent. Well, headroom is also kind of decent. Seats are quite comfortable. It gets this leather treatment as well. The dashboard is 2010 because that's when the Vento was launched, and it looks same as before as well. So not much to talk about as such. The car is really aged a lot, just like this one as well, which I'm going to be reviewing right now. So 2 vlogs in a day is not a big deal when you're reviewing cars which have no changes at all. So we're just going to finish this walk around like in few seconds and start driving as well. Now it gets a traction control button. That is the only difference in the interior. There is no other change. The screen is fine. I mean, it's okay-ish. Obviously Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, all that is available. This is a reverse parking camera, but not much to offer here as such. And why is just revving all of a sudden? Okay, my leg was on the accelerator probably. So that's about it. Everything is the freaking same. Thankfully we get an auto dimming inside rear view mirror. Storage spaces here which I've randomly put toll receipts and some amount of money to clear toll booths as well. And the wipers, who cares about the wipers? Let me just turn off the car. This is the key. Flip key, no keyless entry, no push button start. It gets 4 airbags. It does not get 6 airbags. And the other problem with this car is that it again misses out on a ton of features which is offered by cheaper rivals which cost lesser. The rear window also doesn't go down completely, which is a pain in your rear when you're shooting this car, shooting from this car, tracking shots. And here, press a button, you can roll up all the windows. I know someone's going to make a meme on this, so I'm just giving you more content to do that. It says Volkswagen right here. Who cares? Let's start driving. Alright, we're all set to go, which means air conditioning is off, traction control off. Now look at this, okay? I leave my leg from the brakes. It kind of crawls quite fast. It crawls at around 8 kilometers per hour, which is actually quite fast for stop-go traffic, so you have to be on the brakes. Anyways, we are into sport mode right now. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. The motor revs till 2000 RPM. It definitely revs better than the DSG because the DSG had that lag. This also has that lag, but the lag is less. In fact, it feels smoother and faster off the line. That's actually a nice thing about the torque converter. Now, this is a 1 liter TSI engine which produces 110 horsepower and 175 Newton meters of torque. And obviously I love the engine in the manual, guys, because you can have so much fun in the mid-range. But it has a turbo lag which is kind of contained here thanks to the gearbox, the torque converter, which means that it has better torque distribution somehow. And that's the reason why it feels better lower down. It has less of a lag. I mean, the lag isn't so noticeable either, but obviously there is turbo lag lower down. The mid-range is really very strong, and the gearbox isn't the quickest with downshift somehow, so it takes its own sweet time to downshift. So that's where the DSG is just better. But where this gearbox is actually better than the DSG is the fact that it's quicker off the line somehow, smoother, and obviously will be more reliable too. Now performance is okay. I would say performance is great in the mid-range, and in the top end it likes to scream all the way. In fact, it screams in a way that it reaches 100 kilometers per hour in, I think, third gear. Right now, see, it's upshifting. It's not very enthusiastic to upshift very quickly, which means that it lets you hold on to a gear. That's also a good thing. In terms of the NVH, it's smooth but becomes very sporty in the higher end of the rev range. Obviously, the manual is more noisy, and this gets traction control, which is unnecessary because the manual doesn't get it, and you can't really spin the wheels here even with traction control off. So right now we'll get into manual mode, revving the motor. It just does not spin its wheels, which is a little disappointing. Like I told you, 100 kilometers per hour in third gear, so gearing is on the taller side, but fuel efficiency is lesser when compared to the manual. The manual will return somewhere around 9 to 12 kilometers per liter, maybe 13-14 kilometers per liter out on the highway. It's a small engine, right? But the automatic will return somewhere between 7 to 12 kilometers per liter. So right now it's returning, I think, around 7.5 kilometers per liter, because obviously it drinks fuel. It's a small engine but still drinks fuel because it's turbocharged, and when you rev it, it rewards you also with good amount of performance. But it's slower by 1 second when compared to the manual, and slower by half a second when compared to the 1.2 liter TSI, which was only made it to a DSG gearbox. That was a 7-speed DSG. This is a 6-speed torque converter automatic gearbox, and yeah, it is smooth but not as quick as a DSG. A DSG is just quicker and more, fun in that sense. Now, there are no paddle shifters on offer. There are 3 modes for the gearbox, which is regular drive, the sport mode, which I launched in much earlier, and of course the manual mode, which I'm driving in right now. So you get the Triptronic function to shift gears. Here I'm going to shift into 6th gear. In top gear at around 100 kilometers per hour, it is actually somewhere around 2000 RPM, so it's relaxed in that sense. But you know what, it really screams in the top end in a sportier way, which is nice. Redline comes in at 6500 RPM. Now, when you're driving this car sedately, you realize that it is smooth, it's comfortable, it's refined, and it's only when you downshift like really aggressively here. We are into 2nd gear. Yeah, then it pulls nice and strong. Gearing is on the taller side. The steering actually feels light at low speeds. Okay, stop steering. It's a Skoda Superb. Where is your Superb gone? Anyways, so what happens is the steering is actually light at lower speeds. Not really very light, but it's light enough. Meanwhile, it weighs up brilliantly at higher speeds, but it's not really direct in that sense. It's not the one which will give you a lot of feedback and connection, like artificially weighed up, but still it's weighed up. It is on the highway side at higher speeds, which is also a good thing. Braking performance is also really nice. The suspension is of course on the softer side, and the suspension can get noisy, but it's on the softer side. That's the reason why you get the bounciness. But still, a ride handling balance is pretty sorted on this car, and it stays very composed at high speed. So driving manners are great, of course, has to be. It's a VW at the end of the day. And you know what, this is a car you actually enjoy driving. There is body roll on offer, but the tires offer good amount of grip, and this is actually a fun car to drive. Especially this engine is so punchy, so refined, and so nice when you put it in the top end, because it sounds sporty as well. Now, of course, the mid-range is where the real action lies for this motor, and that's where it really rewards you. But you know what, when I get into sport mode, right now we are in manual mode, now in sport mode, it feels a bit jerky in the way it moves. Yeah, that jerkiness is still there, slightly lesser jerky, or rather slightly less jerky than of course the DSG, but still that jerkiness is there, and you can feel that jerkiness too. Now, I don't have much to talk about because I have already done a detailed review of the Vento manual with the 1 liter TSI engine. It's a 3-cylinder unit, and you can feel that 3-cylinderness at lower speeds, but once you get going, it really behaves very nicely. It's turbocharged, it gets direct injection as well, and like I told you, 110 horsepower and 175 Newton meters of torque, which is good enough. But you know what, in the Vento they should have offered more power and torque. They could have offered the international spec power and torque output, which is 115 horsepower and 200 Newton meters of torque, which would have made it quicker than the Polo as well. Now the Polo is of course faster because it's lighter, it's smaller and whatever. Even the Rapid is faster, I think, probably because of different gearing. Here you would expect slightly more performance for a car of this price. Now this one costs 15.9 lakhs on road Mumbai, which is very expensive for what it offers. The range actually starts at 10.36 lakhs for the base variant of the Vento, which is a manual. So there are 6 variants on offer, 4 are for the manual and 2 are for the automatic. And there was a TSI edition which never sold, so that will be the 7th variant who nobody cares about because it never actually went on sale either. So as I see it, the Vento is a great car, very mature and European car, a German car which offers great dynamic balance and solid build quality as well, but at a price which kind of doesn't make sense at all. The automatic costs 1.7 lakhs more. Just get the manual. Actually, don't even get the manual. Just get the Polo if you want this sort of a car. People buying a C-segment car today are totally pampered for choice because of course the Verna and the City get a CVT gearbox option in the automatic trim, and the Verna also comes with a DCT gearbox. This is a torque converter. Thankfully there is no AMT on offer in this segment, otherwise I would be so mad. Maybe an IMT would also come in the Verna, which means that all kinds of automatic gearbox options are available in the C segment, completely spoiling the buyer for choice. But should you buy a Vento is the crucial question. I would say no, do not buy a Vento. If you want the European feel of a VW car, just get the Polo, because you'll save a lot of money, you'll get the driving feel, and you would just end up compromising on the boot space and the rear seat space. But yes, it doesn't make sense paying 16 lakhs for this sort of a car. Now, of course, you want an automatic. If you get a manual, you would be cheaper by 1.7 lakhs as well. But still, why pay 4.5 lakhs more than the Polo? That doesn't make sense because features are more or less the same. Obviously, this car gets LED lights, which the Polo does not. But as far as driving dynamics and the solid feel goes, the Vento is still a great choice in the segment because it's the only European offering after the Rapid, of course, which is its sibling, which is also very similar with the same powertrain and whatnot. Now, the Vento is definitely aged because of the lack of features, and that's why you wonder that should you spend so much money on it? Obviously, VW is trying to improve its sales and service and all those things, which is something which cannot match Maruti's or Honda's or even Hyundai's for that matter. So yeah, you will have to compromise a bit on certain things to get something which is extremely solid. Now this vlog is going to be really very small. Neha puts her hand like that. Now it improves the ride quality of this car because she has adaptive hands which works with the suspension Bluetooth wise, and really supples the suspension out as such. Is that true? Then what's the point of putting her hand like that? How does that help even? I'm not giving jhatka. The car's suspension is soft, so when you hit an expansion joint, it will like kyun chalti hai pavan, kyun jhum hai gagan, that thing it does. That said, come on, yeah, it's nice and aggressive to downshift, but it's not the fastest, not DSG fast. And on that disappointment, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel.